Welcome. This is part 4 of my series on New Age deceptions, and my name is Georges Verbena. In this part, I talk about labels and generalizations. Labels. What does New Age have to do with it? Well, how about the fact that when somebody uses a label like narcissist, psychopath, empath, codependent, there's always somebody on Facebook, on social media, in real life who says, oh no, you can't put a label on them. Oh, actually, you are the one. So every time somebody dares to use a label to describe accurately, through observation, a specific set of behaviors which tie to a specific label, which is a category to which these behaviors belong to scientifically, that person is haunted and labeled by those who say not to use the label, ironically. So can you imagine how many times me, as the narcissist hunter himself, who exposes narcissists 24/7 for breakfast because it's delicious to expose them, how many times I get caught being a narcissist because I dare to call out accurately behaviors which are pathological, manipulative, and evil. And of course, knowing so much about shadow personas, psychology, and manipulation, because I studied this shit like a mofo, I get to call it out quite a lot. Because guess what? It is common. Guess what? Labels are there for a reason. We are used to describing the world all the time in labels. A label is to categorize the world in good and evil, right and wrong. Is it wrong to take a life of another? Most of the time it is. Oh, you labeled me as wrong for taking their life, for abusing them and stealing from them. Oh, you labeled me as a bad person. Oh no, now you are a bad person. And of course, because I'm a victim and I am a protector of the underdog and the white knight, I reserve myself the privilege to use the label which I accuse you of using. So that is the clown world we're living in. Upside clown world. So anybody who tells you not to use a label and who threatens you with guilt and shame in any shape or form, because that's the only threat they ever have, right? Bro, if somebody ever tells you not to use a label, in 99% of cases they will use guilt and shame to manipulate you. Are you going to fall for it? Or are you going to stand your ground and say, there is right and there is wrong? I have chosen to use a label for somebody who does, in my eyes, wrong. You know, you can argue it. You can defend that malignant individual. You can be the enabler and flying monkey. And I will accuse you of being that with a label. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Because guess what? Free speech exists for as long as I have a voice. And I can speak whatever label I choose. And you can speak. I demand that you speak up and label me as a narcissist if you want to push my algorithm, to get me more views, and to boost the attention that I receive from my business. Yes, I encourage you to call me a narcissist, because guess what? Nothing gets you more attention than being called that. And do I care about my enemies getting attention through me? Do I care that when I make a post about a narcissist exposing their screenshots, having undeniable proof of their manipulation tactics, while breaking it down psychologically and scientifically in a way that is unparalleled in content to anybody I've ever seen on Facebook? Oh, do I really care that it feeds them? No. Because I'm not stuck in this pathetic ego game where it's about, oh no, don't give their ego what they want. What about my ego? What about what I want? I expose because it's what I desire. And I get fueled by opposition. I get fueled by evil. Because that is what I've come here to purge. Because it is enjoyable to do bad things to bad people. Quoting Hannibal Lecter from the series Hannibal. In the month of Scorpio, where I make this video, it shouldn't be a surprise. Because all of my videos recently, as part of the series, have been about the Scorpio Mars conjunction with the Sun in Kazimi, which lasts between the 13th of November and the 19th. So if you're watching this at that time, this is what the energy of Scorpio looks like. If you don't like it, join the crowd of flying monkeys, who are quite large. For the vast majority of people does not like Scorpio. They don't like to be exposed. Guess what? They don't like to be psychoanalyzed because perhaps there's something to analyze which is wrong with them, which needs to change, to transform, to be reborn, to be improved, because they refuse to take responsibility for the behavior. And somebody has to pick up the pace. Somebody has to take the blame. Somebody has to take the hatred. And that is the truth teller. For he is an embodiment of all the labels and generalizations that the conformists and the controllers and the liberators and wardens that protect the system that they hate. They hate the truth, which comes out through a label. Because a label is a spell. It is a box of information. Now you push somebody into that box, and now in your eyes they belong in that box. Which means you have created boundaries between yourself and that person. You have separated yourself from them. You have categorized yourself as good and them as evil. Now the question is, are you good? Because guess what? In some cases you are good. Oh no! You label yourself as good, now you are a narcissist. Ah yes, of course. So because I am what I believe to be, and I have the courage to say it, I am a narcissist. Oh, let's forget about the actual covert narcissists which are all around us, which are claiming to never call themselves good, which are saying, oh no, I'm a humble person, I'm a victim, life always punishes me, everybody treats me badly, I'm a weakling. Those are the people that get rewarded. The victim is the ego ideal to which the majority of people has chosen to aspire to in this society. Welcome to the age of victimhood, in which the person who decides to be a hero, as Carl Jung, everybody should be a hero in the story, of their own story. You should be a hero. You should be strong. You should be good. Good in the eyes of who? Your own. Your own. And when you can claim that this is the truth that you choose to believe, will you really silence yourself for the fear of prosecution? Yes. The vast majority will, and they will hide behind closed doors. And because of this, because the vast majority of us chooses to hide, we do not claim the call of a warrior. We do not become a hero in the story. For the hero who refuses to enter the lion's den can never hope to be initiated into the deeper mysteries that are necessary to overcome the enemy, which is the devil in the desert, where Jesus spent, according to the Bible story, to be 40 days and 40 nights in the desert to meet the devil, which again is a label, right? How can you call the devil the devil? Oh no, the devil is just an insecure, lost soul. He's just vastly misunderstood. Please, let's just give him more love, more understanding. Oh, actually, you are the devil. Have we really reached this level of Twilight Zone? This level of decrepit, malignant obstructivism? This is a term I invented. Yes, I'm cool. Obstructivism. To obstruct the free flow of information, which is the flow of divine communication, which is the higher intelligence that comes from a higher heart, which is embodied intelligence. To embody intelligence, to be a king of swords, is to communicate your perceptions, is to broadcast the information that you receive, is to be a journalist, is to be an investigator, to be a detective, to be a Sherlock Holmes with a looking glass in the dark and shine the light on that and say, there is the evil, there is the problem, there we find our suspect. And guess what? There is a suspect to every crime. And every crime needs a crime scene. And this world is the biggest crime scene you've ever seen. And there's criminals everywhere. And you can choose to ignore that, to be love and light, sunshine and rainbows. You can refuse to generalize, to avoid the shame that you have been interjected with. For those who have shamed those who generalized are possessed by shame themselves, and they are controlled by interjects, taken over like a demonic possession. An interject is a voice of another person who tells you, you are shameful if you say this. You are a bad person, and I will not support you if you call me a narcissist. Oh, I don't give a shit if I call you a narcissist and you don't support me. Because guess what happens to the interject of another when it comes in and tells you, don't generalize. Puff! Tuck! I kick them out of my head. Blast them into smithereens like pff, roundhouse kick, like Bruce Lee style. They're gone. And this is where you have to be ruthless in the month of Scorpio, my dear, who's watching. You have to be completely ruthless. Whenever this malignant obstructivism voice comes in and says, no, don't libertarians. Oh, choose different words. Don't use these words. Ka! If you have to think so much about what words to use, you will be stuck in the head, where is exactly where the narcissist wants to be overthinking constantly, to be doubting every step that you take, to be questioning every one of your moves, so that you never emerge, so that you stay under the ground, submerged under the ice block, so that you can see the adrenaline coursing through your veins, but you do not take action. For you have now become a coward, the embodiment of the weakling, which is exactly where victim society wants to be operating at the level of victim. To be a victim is to blame and shame those who use labels and generalizations. To use a label is to speak up, is to categorize, to judge, to think critically, to focus, to understand, to analyze. This is what the control system doesn't want to do. To think independently is to use a label, to identify what is in front of you. If you can't identify others, how can you identify yourself? Those who do not choose to label are also those who claim not to judge. Don't judge. So you will not judge yourself if you do wrong, because as you treat others, you will treat yourself. That means if you don't hold other people accountable and responsible for their actions, how can you hold yourself responsible? What kind of hypocrisy is this? Where we push ourselves down, but we refuse to push others. This is just the age of hypocrisy, where honor has now become a disgrace, and virtue is to be a victim, is to be humble. Humble yourself, weaken your ego, so I can feel safe in my insecurities, so I can continue to get away with my behavior without ever being held accountable. When I use the word narcissist, do you think that nobody notices? All those people will be kissing my feet, thanking me that one person has seen the enemy. And that will make them think. The interjects are out of my head, and now I will be your interject. Now I will be the interject in their head, because I choose to occupy this space which they have chosen to abandon. If you do not like the table, flip the table, kick it over. If you do not like to be controlled, take back control. If you do not like the place to be taken from you, take back the space. So your ability to use labels and generalizations unapologetically is about being present. Like the sign of Aries. Aries North Node globally. Thank you very much. Until 2025. Mars, the aggressor. Yes, we need to be a little bit aggressive. I am sorry. In Scorpio, we need to be ruthless again. Because we are brainwashed. The brainwash is it's a tumor. You need to become a surgeon. Do you know how many Scorpios become surgeons? It is the profession behind the sign. And the surgeon is an expert, very with grace and precision, to find the right entry point, to strike, to take out the tumor, which is the interject. The tumor is the interject. When people get a brain tumor, when people get problems with the head, mucus, eyesight issues, issues with the mouth, with the teeth, with the ears, with hearing, with the hair, all of this are Mars issues of somebody who is not occupying the space that they deserve to be in. Where somebody doesn't have a sense of belonging because they can't even label themselves. How can you belong if you refuse to reclaim your identity, which is a label? My goodness! If you can't be labeled and you can't label in return, then there's nobody here. Nobody. To be a body is a fucking label, okay? To be human. To be incarnated. Yes. I am a soul in this body. Guess I labeled myself. Oh my goodness. It's ridiculous. So if I have Sun Conjunction Lilith, and I am labeling myself as a representative of the Lilith archetype, guess what? That is correct. And you will not stand in my way, because I have no problems choosing to identify as whatever the fuck I identify with, because my identity is flexible, because it can change according to the environment, according to the necessities of reality, which punishes falsehood and forces me to adapt. So I will adapt. Because those who are rigid, those who refuse to identify, to label, and to be an identity themselves, those who are inflexible, refusing to move like a frozen ice block, heavily armored, those are sick and pathological. And those are exactly the type who hate labels. Is those who refuse to integrate a sense of selfhood, where their sense of self is so fragile and insecure that they have to embody the shadow persona of the white knight to come to my Facebook posts, tell me not to use labels, because the white knight is the only identity which they value, the one that is given by society and culture, which is not their own, but which is the piece of armor that they require to protect the completely hijacked, completely demonized, bullied, and harassed inner child that is decrepit on the floor like a snail, like, oh, I'm crouching, I'm so weak, I'm worthless, I'm Ramdas being nobody. Because that's the kind of type of person which screams the most, harasses me, calls me a narcissist, the joke, the complete ridiculousness of doing that. I laugh about it. It's hilarious to me. All of this is hilarious. It's comedy. And the moment you look at it as a comedy and as a game, something fun to behold, you know you have healed, and you have stepped out of the drama that these label demonizers want to push you in. It's their drama. It's their world, which they try to build around you. If you refuse to participate, their world will never succeed. So if you like this video, leave a like and a comment. And if you like to see more videos like this, leave an idea about what kind of video I should do next in this series, because it is about new age deceptions at the end of the day, all of this which is born out of this age of victimhood. So if you have any examples or ideas, I would be happy to make a video on those. And if you like a reading, reach out to me on Facebook and I can set you up. With that being said, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.